Jesus. Hey, how's everyone doing? So, I just got back from the 2019 Coke Zero Sugar 400. And as you can see, I'm a fucking lobster. I mean, look at this shit. What a weekend. Me and my dad have been going to this race for 9 years now. We've been going to the 500 for 11. So it's nothing new for us. Let's start with Saturday. So we get to the speedway and the rain chances are really high. It's like 70% all day. I did not think we were going to get the race in at all. When we got there, the clouds were ridiculous. They're all over the place. You couldn't see the sun to save your life. And we headed on up to the track. And as we're going up there, one of the first things we saw was Chase Elliott riding by us on a golf cart. So that was pretty cool. You don't see that every day. Something I was kind of bummed about was they do the tweet up every week where all the Twitter people go and just hang out and talk and everything. And normally they have a guest. I completely forgot about tweet up and I missed it. And I was really annoyed because the guest was Rusty Wallace. He would have been awesome to meet. I think next year I'm definitely going to start going to more driver appearances. I used to do a ton back in the day, but I just kind of stopped over the last few years. But that's definitely in the future plans. So we head over to the merchandise trailers first, and we just look around. We didn't buy anything. Obviously, Chase Elliott's trailer is always the most popular. One of the most interesting trailers I saw was the IK9 trailer for Jeffrey Earnhardt. They didn't have hardly jack shit there, but it was still interesting nonetheless, especially with all the controversy surrounding him and that sponsor and Joe Gibbs Racing and everything this weekend. So then we decided to head up to our seats. We got to the gate and the line was ridiculously long. We've never seen a line this long in our lives. Normally they have all of the lanes open and it's pretty fast flowing movement. But this time they only had like 2 or 3 lanes open, which is fucking ridiculous. I don't know why it was such a big issue. But we waited in line for a little bit and then we got through and went up to our seats. And right when we got to our level, which was the highest level, it pretty much started raining right then and there. There was a decent amount of lightning in the area and everything. I spent a while recording the fucking sky, trying to get a good lightning strike because there are a couple of them that I saw with my own eyes and I'm like, that'd be really cool for the video. Best thing I could get was one little fucking rinky dinky one. So we waited around. The rain was like kind of on and off a little bit. It would go from like heavy to drizzling to like nothing to drizzling to heavy. It's like constantly back and forth. There are the jet dryers on the track trying to dry the track. But we didn't stay there long because, you know, what's the point of staying there for hours on end when you know it's probably not going to start? They had lost the track and everything. You could see the ball field was completely flooded. So we decided to go back to our car where we parked and just chill out for a little bit and wait till the race was postponed or whatever. We've done this so many times. This is nothing new to us. A lot of people were walking around fucking barefoot and so disgusting. I don't know why people do shit like that. But we waited in the car for a little bit and then I read on Twitter that the race was postponed to 1 p.m. So we went home, called it a night, and then came back the next day. So today's Sunday, the 7th, and oh my god, it was so fucking hot. We get out of the car, it's completely sunny, not too many clouds in the sky. So we headed up to our seats around 10, 11. head over to the gate, but this time the line was even longer. The line was fucking ridiculously long, and I looked and only 2 or 3 lanes were open again. So we waited in line for a little while, and at this point we're already pouring sweat. The line was moving so slow, and it was like 12 o'clock, so it was like 20 minutes away from driver intros, and we're wondering if we're even gonna see the driver intros. And then out of nowhere, the line started moving like crazy fast. I don't know what happened. I think they started like just going really fast, checking through bags, and I don't think anyone had to empty their pockets anymore. They were just like, obviously we're taking way too long, so we just need to speed this shit up. So we went through the gate and went back up to our seats. One interesting thing I saw was this guy to my bottom right. I'm just not even gonna explain this. I'll just let you see for yourself. Yeah, speechless. So everything went off without a hitch at first. Race started on time, everything was good, perfect weather. Basically, I thought the race was great. I thought the package lended itself really well to Daytona, the new package. Stage 1 was won by Joey Logano, Stage 2 was won by Austin Dillon. A lot of great racing, a lot of decent amount of lead changes, a lot of side-by-side action. The first video I took was crazy because, well, like I said again, let's just check it out right now.
Straight ahead, he's also working.
Inside lane, Kurt Busch there, back around the 5th position. At the front of the field, you've got Stenhouse. He loads 6
Inside lane, he's running side by side for the number 5 spot. That's led by Kurt Busch. He's got Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, and others in tow. Busch taking Chip Ganassi, Chevy Camaro to the bottom of the racetrack. He is leading the inside line. Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, and your Chicagoland winner Alex Bowman right behind him. Let's see what Kurt Busch can do here. He draws alongside of Ryan Blaney. That's the challenge for third. He moves by. Now he takes second. And Stenhouse throws the block down low. Power from off-turn car. Out there between Kurt Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That was a mistake.
The Fords and Chevys like pretty much completely dominated. You couldn't find a fucking Toyota all day, which is weird because Toyotas normally are very strong in the super speedway races. Like Matt DiBenedetto dominated the Daytona 500 and you didn't see him all day. There were a few wrecks.
And David Reagan, they're side by side in row 3. Ricky Stenhouse and Brad Keselowski, row 4. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, they're together in row 5. Keep Jacobs with the left turn of the race track.
Speed behind him. Chase Elliott comes to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get things rolling, having some trouble going ahead. And here comes the outside lane. Brad Keselowski jumps up in front of Kevin Harvick with Logano, Almirola, and others in tow. They go here they come now, back through turn number 3. The leader, Austin Dillon. Alex Bowman right second. Chase Elliott third. They line up along the inside, and here comes the fourth on the outside.
What is your loyalty lineup? On the inside or on the outside? Are you a Chevy fan with Austin Dillon on the inside? Surprise winner going to victory lane. Maybe a Bubba Wallace who has rebounded and is now running inside the top 10. Maybe even a Ty Dillon who's had a great day today, running 14th. How about Parker Kligerman? We haven't talked about him today. He too having a great day. Meanwhile, pit road is open. Here they come. And Dylan Walter kicks back the field.
He is pit stop. He's around changing. That side figures to keep the view. for Steve Post.
It was 4 tires for all the drivers who in the first start. They would even
Pretty typical super speedway race. Nothing like too crazy happened until it got to near the end. So it got to about 40 laps to go in the race. And after stage 2, as everyone knows, if weather comes or anything like that, the race could be called. It could be official. Austin Dillon was leading, and he basically did a terrible block on Clint Boyer and wrecked the whole field. But I will say, this is probably one of the best races I've ever seen Austin Dillon run as a whole. Really interested to see if he could pull out a real legitimate win this time. But no, I mean, he blew it. Controversy didn't end there. Weather was coming in the area, bad thunderstorms. So they're running around under caution, and Kurt Busch has the lead now because he avoided the wreck somehow. Kurt Busch is staying out because he's thinking, it's going to be a weather delay or a lightning delay or something, which is a totally normal strategy. I figured he would stay out. During this, I noticed a lightning strike out in the distance, and I'm like, they got to be pulling him in any second. But then, next thing you know, the lights turn off on the pace car and they're about to do a restart. So Kurt Busch, his strategy's up. He has to pit and get fuel and tires or whatever. And a bunch of back marker cars continue to stay out, and they're trying to take the weather strategy even further. But there's no way it's going to work for them because NASCAR says there's 1 to go. So basically, the green flag is going to come out and they're going to get swallowed up by the faster cars. So Justin Haley takes the lead, and they do 1 more lap around the track. And you would think the pace car is about to roll into pit road and they're going to do a restart, but no, lights come back on and they decide to take them down pit road and red flag the race for lightning. Lightning was like, 8 miles away, something like that. This is huge. NASCAR totally fucked Kurt Busch. I like to see consistency and good officiating, and that was so bad. You can't tell the field there's 1 to go, and then he's going to pit because we're restarting. He's been trying to do this weather strategy, but now he's fucked because a lap later they decide, actually, no, we are going to red flag it, which is what Kurt was waiting for. So Kurt goes back to 10th for no reason. I could not believe this. This was one of the worst calls I've ever seen in NASCAR history. I've been watching for 17 years, and this definitely ranks up there. I totally feel for Kurt Busch, his team, and his fans. It's just so bad. But it wasn't official that it was over yet. So anyway, if you don't know anything about NASCAR and weather and lightning and all this, a Pocono fan died a few years ago. He got struck by lightning. So now they're really strict about it. So if there's like a lightning strike within an 8-mile radius, they put it under a lightning delay, and there has to be 0 lightning strikes for 30 minutes before they come back and race again. All the fans pretty much go underneath the stands and everything, and we're all just chilling out. And I saw some interesting characters down here. I also just don't understand these people that are like lay on the fucking dirty ass ground. They just don't give a fuck. Maybe they're just passed out from being drunk. I don't know. This huge storm cloud is also coming to the track, so it's looking highly unlikely it's gonna be restarted. So we wait around for about an hour, and no rain really hit the track. I mean, 3 and 4 got a little bit of rain, but the majority of it passed the track, and those turns could be quickly dried. The lightning hold was lifted. We went back up in the stands. Drivers got in their cars, and we were about to see the last 33 laps of this race. That is until another lightning strike happened, and we were under another 30-minute delay. This was really frustrating because, at this point, it's like over an hour of waiting. And like I said, it's not even really raining at the track. They could have run the entire last bit of this race, but they didn't, pretty much for no reason. I mean, these lightning strikes were so far out. Now, I know it's a safety issue and everything, but still, there needs to be a shorter time limit or, a shorter radius with the lightning strikes or something, but it was ridiculous. It really was. Bubba Wallace and Daniel Hemrick, mainly Bubba Wallace, were out throwing the football with the fans out in the ball field, which I thought was funny because it's like NASCAR's telling all the fans to get out of the stands because of lightning, but then Bubba Wallace is out here throwing the football. So it's like, really, what are we doing? Like, none of this makes sense at this point. But that's pretty awesome of Bubba Wallace. He did this a few weeks ago as well, and the fans really enjoyed it and everything.
The weather has moved from 4 to 3, down the back straightaway, backwards into turn number 1. We can easily see the jet black clouds out from behind turn number 2. And periodically we do see a...
And at one point, there was this little kid that kept throwing up a Coke bottle to himself for like 30 minutes. And then finally it exploded up in the air and went skyrocketing, and everyone got soaked around him. And his dad gets up and he's like, "Sit the fuck down!" damn! You could see this huge storm cloud coming from an opposite direction. It was coming straight to the track. Rain pummels the track, completely loses the track, and under normal circumstances, I would say, okay, they're going to call the race immediately. It's over. But I was honestly looking at Twitter and just, thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure they're going to call this race because do they really want to end on that note with Kurt Busch and like Justin Haley winning, unfairly? It's only 4 or 5 o'clock. Daytona has lights. They've run super late at the track before. Either way, you knew it was going to be a multi-hour delay. So I'm like, let's go back to the car and let's wait around and, get a drink or do something while we wait instead of just standing here. So that's what we decided to do. And right before we left, I looked over and that guy from earlier was standing there. Oh my God, my jaw was on the fucking floor. And then there was this one guy who turns around and he was ranting and raving about how Daytona was ruined. The racing's terrible. He's never coming back. This is the last straw. And then right when we were about to leave the stands, a guy was talking to him and he was like, "You're gonna come back next year?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm definitely coming." So we put our ponchos on, go out in the pouring down rain, and start heading back to our car. And as we're doing that, the rain starts to get lighter and lighter, and at this point, it's drizzling. I'm about to tell my dad, like, no, let's just stay here. But right when I went to go do that, they announced over the PA, Justin Haley is the winner. The race is official. I don't understand this at all. I really don't. The storm was completely dissipating. I just don't understand NASCAR's mentality on any of this stuff. If you're gonna call the race, you think you would call it immediately, not when the storm is dissipating and it's only sprinkling at the track 45 minutes later. They just did a terrible job all around today. Has to be probably the most controversial race I've been to. Fans around me were furious. I remember when they announced Justin Haley's the winner, everyone started booing. I don't blame them. Nothing against Justin Haley. I'd love to see a good underdog winner. You don't see it too often, but the way he won it, I'm sorry, he did not deserve it. As we're heading back to the car, the rain literally stopped. At this point, it's laughable. It's like they have so much daylight left today and it's not raining. Storm is pretty much gone and they already called the race for no reason. I live near the speedway. It's not even 8 o'clock and it's literally sunny outside. One last thing happened before we left the track. This woman, police officer on a motorbike, was driving by and she was like yelling at the fans to get out of the way and like, "Move these cones," and being like a total ass. And then she completely wipes out, loses control of her motorbike and falls on the fucking ground. I just thought it was karma because she was being an ass. But the crazy thing behind her was she was giving an escort to Jimmy Johnson in a white Tahoe. Couldn't believe it. He was literally driving it right out of the stadium. I wasn't sure if Jimmy was laughing about the woman falling, but he was smiling. It could have just been at the fans. We waved at him. He waved back. Totally cool. In my opinion, he's the greatest NASCAR driver of all time. So that was something really cool to see on the end of the day. So we headed home and that was it. So yeah, that's my first race review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment, like, subscribe. Please check out my social medias and the info, and I'll see you on the next one.